At the time of the poll, no one presidential candidate had the 50+1 threshold, which is required for somebody to win at first instance. However, the leading candidate, and that is Raila Odinga, had a 47% preference rating, while Dr. William Ruto had a preference rating of 41%. And because we still have a 9% undecided vote, we think, depending on how the campaigns happen this week, if Raila is able to convert just a half of the undecided voters, then he will win the election at the first time. I think that was a major finding of this particular election.
But Samuel, some people would wonder why there are undecided voters, looking at how competitive the contest between former Prime Minister Raila Odinga and Deputy President William Ruto is anticipated to be.
Yes, we've come from a past where our elections and our campaigns were very much regionalized, but more based on ethnic kind of divisions. And so the levels of support for candidates at that point in time were very much determinable, looking at just the tribal card alone. But remember, we here now have the two leading contenders who have gone for their running mates from one community, and in a way divided the votes in that one community in such a situation or in such a scenario where we still have quite a number of people who are still not very sure whether they want to go this way or the other way. And then the other thing, when we look at other polls that have happened in this country, you find that in as much as people have not loved the government very much, but people have a very big liking for the president. The liking for the president as a person is still very high. And this president comes from a community that has literally gone against the grain, and majority of them have desired a candidate who is not what the president has said. So in as much as the president is not commanding a lot of support, but he still wields a level of influence wherever he goes. The things that are happening, he is still able. So there's a scenario that has been created in the country that creates that kind of a perception that there could be a higher number of voters that are undecided.
What do Kenyans expect from the new leader, especially when they routinely complain that politicians come, they vote for them, they don't keep the promises when they get there?
Yes, we did try to ascertain that in our research. So, for example, we asked all respondents to list the three important issues that they would like the new government to address. Now, from a citizen's point of view, they would want the government to address employment. They would want the government to address corruption prevention. They would want the government to address issues around education, food security, agriculture production, and health access. And if you look at the manifestos of the of actually all the presidential candidates, and especially the top two issues, employment and corruption prevention, which I think are very emotive issues. The Kenya Kwanza campaign, which belongs to the deputy president, has really talked about employment, has really talked about empowering the grassroots person, has really talked about bottom-up approach, how we make sure that the economy is distributed in such a way that the local person can also benefit from it. But when you look at the campaign platform of the former Prime Minister, it is everything around corruption, how we prevent corruption, how we get back what has been stolen from the country. And those two propositions resonate very well with the wishes of the people on the ground. I think what remains is seeing this happening because they've been put in their manifestos, they put it very, very clear in the plans that they would want to do. Now it is up to the winner of this particular election to see whether they will implement this. But allow me to say this. In my adult life, and over the last 30 years or so that Kenya has been a multi-party democracy, this is probably the first election where there are some real concrete issues that are forming part of the campaigns.